I tell you what, this is a must watch. I really enjoyed this. And beyond just the stories being told, it's the messages here. So I'm very excited and I cannot wait. So let's wait no further to jump into my review of the new series, Roar. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the series Roar, which is coming to Apple TV Plus April 15th. Now, it is 8 episodes, which is an anthology, so you have 8 different stories, 30 minutes each. And I gotta tell you, for 30 minutes, they're packing it all in. But beyond that, it is based on a book, which is a collection of short stories by Cynthia Erivo. And then brought to you by the creators of the series Glow from Netflix. But yes, this is something very unique. And that's probably for lack of better words here, but unique. We'll start with that because it's basically an insight of, different ways to kind of portray what it means to be a woman today. So you're getting all sorts of different stories, all different types of tones, all different type of perspectives, even very diverse as well, of simply of what it means to be a woman today. So like I said, along with the different plots within each of these episodes, they all have very, very important messages and narratives that certainly should spark some conversation, good ones at that. And needed ones, shall I add, because with that, you're getting all sorts of just like unique blends of magical realism, familiar domestic and professional scenarios, and futuristic worlds. And then within these 8 stories, you got all these sorts of different dilemmas of what ordinary women are basically the different things that they kind of go through during a normal day, And like I said, it's just certainly to spark conversation to come from out of it. Now, I gotta start off by saying that my biggest gripe with this is that because it's an anthology and because of the messages that come from this, I really, really dislike the fact that this is all available all on the same day. I feel like this is perfect for the weekly release because you want to kind of let the message hit, marinate, and let the commentary, the social commentary come from out of it. And I think that when you are so quickly getting the one episode after the next, then you kind of forget what you may overlook what the important messages came from the previous episode, because like I said, there's a story, and then within these stories you're kind of like, oh, what was the message of that story? And then once you kind of figure it out, then you may want to talk about it, and you also may want to talk to somebody who may got a different view, perspective, whatever it may from it as well. So like, yeah, this was not the series that I was expecting to all drop at once. The first episode I watched, I was like, oh, and I started thinking about ideas. And I was like, okay, well, I can watch the entire series, and I got plenty of notes. But like, I wish when it is released that I would love to kind of see people's like different takes of each of these episodes. Now I know some episodes may be a little bit more meatier than the other, but I think they all really have very important messages. So that's just kind of my thing. This series is star-studded. There is names up and down the board. Start with Nicole Kidman, Cynthia Erivo, Issa Rae, just to name a few. There's tons of folks involved with this, familiar names and faces in this up and down the board. And with these stories being so relevant, I still think that they're very refreshing and the takes are unique, so that the way you may not have normally digested this story or the message, I feel like it did a really good job in making sure that one way, shape, or form, you're going to take something from it. You're going to understand that there's something being said, something being told instead of just the events that are happening. Because with all the different tones, some of them are comedic, some of them are a little deep, a little heavy, surreal. One episode is totally built like a horror. which I will get to in a second. And then one's like a Western. And with that, got this really cinematic production to it. So you almost care to want to see that be fleshed out into a feature length. But also, there's a very important message that is crammed in those 30 minutes of that episode. So there's that. But yeah, I definitely absolutely up all day, every day. This would have been served better as a week-to-week release, like for real. Now with that, like I guess it should be said, but just in case I didn't say it, they are definitely touching on some very touchy subjects, and like I said, with this very diverse cast, you're getting diverse stories, and not 1-2 episodes ever feel the same, not by no means. And I think that each of these different episodes, you're just gonna see something unique, hear something unique, feel something maybe unique, but also just hopefully your perspective about what women go through is also changed for the better, because you definitely see all sorts of different things. And I mean, it's a lot. It's really a lot to kind of grasp, and like there's no way it'd be extremely difficult to kind of break down each of these episodes into just a short review here, because I feel like each episode is worth an hour to talk about with all the substance that's within it. But I will say that, like, episode 3, I thought, starting off with it, and not to take nothing from the first 2 episodes, because I think they're fantastic, but by the time I was on episode 3, that's not really started to see a lot of like metaphorical imagery within these episodes, where I started to say like, oh, you really got to sit back and kind of understand what's being told. Like a lot was kind of going on, and you're trying to understand exactly what they're trying to say, and it's maybe one of my favorite episodes. And I think as a male, I think this is important. It should be an eye-opener for us, and hopefully really, change our perspective going forward about what women go through. And it's not going to just be, black and white in terms of what's being told. It's literally going to be, all sorts of different types of tones. Like I said, it can be comedic, but yet be talking about something very serious. So, just be aware of that. Episode 4. Really good, deep and good, shall I add. I loved episode 6. This is the one I felt like could have been a feature-length film as well, outside of the Western, which is the last episode. This was about a woman who was, and by the way, all the titles tell you exactly what each episode is going to be. They make it very clear, so you know exactly what episode is going to be about. So like even with episode 6, it's the woman who solved her own murder. That's the name of the episode. And yes, it is, because a woman who was murdered is now a ghost, like the film Ghost, but more in a comedic way, where she's basically trying to solve her own murder. And while that sounds familiar, the concept is definitely cool and unique to its own. I really loved it. Episode 7 was unique as well and cute. I loved it. So like I say, every episode there will be a plot. There will be a complete arc to each of these episodes. But the messages attached to them is the really important things to take away from it. And I just think that with these 30-minute episodes, that they're cramming in so much, with good messages, good narratives to take from out of it, very thought-provoking, and I think overall just the performances was good, the productions were good, up and down the board this was good. I only think that this was just better served as a week-to-week. I also think that there may be folks that may not grasp some of these messages, therefore they're going to try to devalue the show, which is completely annoying, but it is what it is. But understanding that this series is about trying to tell a message along with the story, and each of these episodes you're definitely going to get that, and you're like, as it says in the synopsis, you're weaving through 8 dark comedic feminist fables, and taking a very unexpected approach to subjects like gender, role, autonomy, and identity. And certainly they hit all of those plus more. So, I enjoyed this a lot. I really had no expectations going into this. I had seen the names attached, and I was like, okay, let's see what they got. First episode starting with Issa Rae, came out swinging, fantastic, and all the way to the 8th episode, that each and every episode I was stuck and glued to my seat, wanting to see more. But also because of the fact of doing a review, I took a lot of notes, because there's so many messages, so many emotions, so many things you kind of want to reprogram in terms of how you think about certain things. and thinking about all the symbolic nature to what these stories are trying to tell, like it just really hits all of that. So, really good. The tones and takeaways change, but I think the show absolutely is super consistent in what it's trying to do, and that's move things into a more positive way, and that I think accomplished. So check it out. Roar, Apple TV Plus, April 15th. Jump in the comments. I need to know your favorite episode, your favorite performances, some of the messages that you was able to grasp from this. And as always, stay tuned because we got more reviews coming to you very soon.